Nigeria. Welcome to Newsline. I am Becky Maduchemu. Thanks for joining us. It's been a long week for Nigeria and Nigerians. Our package this week focuses more on the protests and the rampage that followed. Victims of the mayhem in Lagos and other parts of the country will share their experiences. Rebuilding the ruins and restoring sanity to affected locations will be given some attention. The basket is full and we must begin quickly with the news by Elizabeth Omori. Great to see you, Lizzie.
It's good to see you too, Becky, and thanks for joining us on the news segment of the program. One person is said to have lost his life and many others wounded as a result of stampede when hoodlums broke 3 stores and carted away food items and other relief materials in Adamawa State. Correspondent Rian Bala reports that following the development, Governor Hamadu Umaru Fintiri has since imposed 24 hours curfew in Yola to restore law and order.
Youths in their numbers broke the federal government silos in Kwanawaya, Central Store Damilu and Cooperative Store, all in Yola, and carted away food items and other relief materials meant for victims of insurgency, flood, communal clashes, as well as victims of farmer-herder clashes. The development led to the death of a teenager as a result of stampede, while many others sustained various degrees of injury during the act. The Adamawa State Police Command says the situation is under control as necessary security measures have been put in place to restore law and order.
We are now monitoring compliance. Where there is no compliance, that is when enforcement will now come in.
Meanwhile, Governor Ahmad Umaru Fintiri has imposed a 24-hour curfew.
We cannot allow hoodlums and misguided elements to operate unchallenged when we are already battling with the challenges of insecurity, kidnapping, cattle rustling, banditry, and farmer-herders clashes. In view of the above, I have declared and imposed an indefinite down-to-dusk curfew throughout the state.
In Yola, Rayanu Bala, NTA News.
Nigerians have been asked to be more vigilant about the sources of food and drugs they take, as some of the items looted by hoodlums from Kaduna NAFDAC warehouse are expired and some contain chemical preservatives, while others are fake drugs. The state acting governor Hadiza Balaribe gave the advice while assessing the level of destruction at the warehouse in Kaduna. Mohammed Umar Achingi reports.
Looters broke through this wall to gain access to the warehouse where beans treated with chemical preservatives were kept. They carted away a number of bags. This is where most of them left their shoes when the security men strike in to stop them from carting away these food items. Benedict Augustine is the storekeeper.
As you can see many damages here. All this kekena pepe. They came to carry fair beans. So now security operative now came and threw tear gas, all of them, they ran away.
A private residence and NAFDAC office in Barnawa were also vandalized and looted, a development that is now generating fear and anxiety in the minds of many, as most of the drugs carted away by the hoodlums are fake and expired, certified by the authorities as highly harmful for human consumption.
Now for people who think that they will take these items, it is very harmful to their health. It can lead to long-term complications, it can lead to death. So they should be careful. So there are consequences for what they have done. And I hope that they will be, should I say, clever enough to return those things so that they can be appropriately disposed by NAFDAC.
The National Emergency Management Agency warehouse in Kaduna was not spared by the hoodlums. I am Muhammad Umar Ajingi, NTA News.
And at about 3 p.m. this Sunday, some hoodlums broke into 2 warehouses belonging to the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, in Abuja, carting away with some items. Ayan Jay Outa has a situation report.
Is all that is left of the 2 warehouses that were vandalized by hoodlums. According to an eyewitness, the people broke into the place and picked bags of guinea corn, some electronics, mattresses, stationaries, among other items.
People gathered around here, Jabid Akibu, as they suspected it is a warehouse for palliative. they started government palliative. They started searching the building, and after all, they overpowered the police and the army that are trying to secure the place. After overpowering them, they entered. Some of them were lucky to have mattresses inside, computer items, some of them food items, and also vegetable oils.
Though the people refused to talk on camera, some passers-by say security operatives could not contain the angry youths, but as at the time of filing this report, the situation had been brought under control as armed security men had taken over the area. Ayina J. Outa, NTA News.
Let's now take you to Lagos, where the Speaker House of Representatives, Southwest governors and ministers have paid a condolence visit to the state governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu and the people of the state following the aftermath of the EndSARS protest, which resulted in loss of lives and looting and destruction of public and private property. Nosa Usula tells us more.
Babajide Sanwo-Olu, in company of state government officials, took the Southwest governors and ministers from the region on an inspection of some areas, which included Igboshere High Court, City Hall, Lagos State DNA and Forensic Center, Lekki Toll Plaza, among others that were razed and vandalized in the coordinated attacks by arsonists. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, and the Southwest governors, led by its chairman, Ondo State Governor Rotimi Akeredolu, as well as ministers from the region, said they were in Lagos to sympathize and commiserate with those that lost their lives and property.
I want to reiterate that the House will do all it can to make sure that everybody that has suffered from police violence, whether you're from the north, from the east, from the west, because everybody in Nigeria suffered from police violence, not just those of us from the southwest. That will be applicable to all, including policemen that lost their lives in this unfortunate incident.
We will not allow brigandage, and we should not, all of us. And wanton destruction of lives and property within Southwest, within the whole of Southwest, and all of us governors are prepared to fight for this.
Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, who led the federal government's delegation, urged residents to embrace peace and work together in unity for a greater Lagos.
For all to be well, we appeal that we should refrain from volatile, provocative, inciting messages and language.
In Lagos, Nosa Osula, NTA News.
Meanwhile, business activities are expected to fully kick off in Lagos, Monday being the first working day after the state government relaxed the curfew hours. In view of this, security personnel have mounted various areas in the state to ensure peaceful atmosphere. Abolade Salami reports.
For the full commencement of all activities in the city, more concerned Lagosians have continued to dedicate their time to the clearing of debris from the roads under the hashtag Cleaner Lagos.
What we can do to the nation to make sure that Victoria Land is like a Manhattan, and we will not like the environment to be defaced, and we will not like but tomorrow is work.
In the meantime, the Lekki Toll Gate as well as the Ikoyi Link Bridge are calm and free of any gridlock.
I'm so happy. I'm so excited. There is peace. Now I can move freely. I can move from Lekki here to VI, from VI to Aja. There is peace now.
The problem itself is free flowing.
Is this, people are saying this area is still yet unpassable. Please tell us.
No, it is passable. I just passed it, as you have said.
Tell us now, which area is passable?
The Lekki Toll Plaza. That's where I just passed through.
Meanwhile, visits to some markets indicate that there is a hike in price of food commodities. This have been linked with the looting of stores by hoodlums.
Everything is too expensive. Before this granota here now, we are selling 1,000. Now it's 1,500.
Nigerians are ever calling for dialogue to address the pending issues. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
Now, in the aftermath of destructive activities of hoodlums on private and government assets in some parts of the country, state governments have begun to strategize to bring about calm in the affected states. Francis Form has details of plans by some of the state governments.
Governor Hope Uzodinma announced a downward review of the 24-hour curfew declared in the state following the gradual return of normalcy.
Consequently, the curfew will now start from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. every day for now.
In Anambra State, Governor Willie Obiano says he will no longer tolerate the destruction of lives and property by some hoodlums in the state and has directed security agencies to prevent further destruction by hoodlums, especially the planned protest on Monday, 26th. Following the destruction occasioned by the EndSARS protest in Asaba and some parts of Delta State, well-meaning Deltans and the state government have embarked on a major cleanup exercise to rid the state capital Asaba of debris left behind in the wake of the protest.
It is our responsibility to also ensure that we protect government properties around our area.
And the Ekiti State Governor Kayode Fayemi has joined other states to inaugurate panels of inquiry to investigate alleged excesses of human rights abuses perpetrated by the banned Special Anti-Robbery Squad.
The question of this Ekiti State Judicial Panel of Inquiry is an important first step in responding to the concerns from the EndSARS protesters.
The government also cautioned against consuming seedlings looted from the government warehouses and silos in Ado, Ekiti, as the seedlings have been treated with chemicals for planting purposes only. From Niger State comes the report that Governor Abubakar Sani Bello has constituted a 10-man judicial panel of inquiry to investigate cases of police brutality, just as Abia State Governor put in place a 16-man judicial panel of inquiry to investigate allegations of extrajudicial killings and brutality by security agents in the state. In Abuja, Francis Form, NTA News.
The presidency has continued to react to the aftermath of destruction caused by looters masquerading under the EndSARS protest, with President Muhammad Buhari condemning violent acts and calling for peace. Najata Tijani reports.
In a statement signed by Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, President Buhari condemned the loss of lives and appealed for peace and brotherhood, expressing optimism that the judicial panel of inquiry set up by the Lagos State government will assist the nation in getting justice to peaceful protesters who lost their lives, security men who were murdered, and property owners whose assets were vandalized and looted. The president said he avoided going into a debate about the Lekki tollgate incident until all facts were established, appealed to the good people of Nigeria to maintain peace and brotherhood as the machinery of the government and the wheel of justice turn against the perpetrators of murder, arson, stealing, rape, assault, and malicious damage to public and private property. Advising Nigerians not to turn against one another in hate, President Buhari says it is important that the police and other security agencies continue to restore calm and normalcy as quickly as possible. He says his administration is working hard through many pragmatic ways to reduce the hardship of millions of unemployed, warning that resorting to widespread attacks and organized looting and plundering of public and private property in many states are inimical to public good and stand condemned. As a government which has launched a massive crackdown on corruption is saddened that a legitimate and peaceful protest has turned into a free-for-all vandalism and looting. Families must turn back children who bring home unaccounted goods in the same way wives must ask their husbands to return looted items brought home. Criminal actions being witnessed can weaken and erode the confidence of people and that of foreign businesses in investing in the economy. These incidents, the president says, do not reflect well on any society. They are wrong and condemnable and should not be supported by reasonable members of the society. In line with this, President Buhari commends the decision of the Lagos State Ministry of Justice to prosecute 220 29 suspects arrested by the police for allegedly using the EndSARS protest to destroy and loot public and private property. The president says his administration has taken note of the grievances of the people and has shown a clear determination to take all necessary measures to address the complaints. The violence must stop, President Buhari says, and condemns hate messages and eviction notices to ethnic and religious groups. The right of all citizens to live and work in any part of the country is a constitutional right and will be defended by the government.
The federal government has again appealed to youths to embrace peace in the aftermath of the EndSARS protest hijacked by hoodlums. The Minister of Niger Delta, Senator Godswill Akpabio, who led federal government's delegation to Akwa Ibom State, stated this at a stakeholders meeting after inspecting destroyed property in Uyo, the state capital. Kelvin Samuel reports.
In the aftermath of EndSARS hoodlums' wanton destruction and looting of valuable items, the federal government has continued to show concern to the people. While in Akwa Ibom State, the delegation took time to visit and inspect areas directly affected. After the inspection, the federal government delegation held a meeting with the people and reassured that the federal government, in collaboration with the state government, will do everything possible to restore lasting peace in the state. The meeting agreed that since the Akwa Ibom state government had aligned with the federal government to constitute a panel of inquiry over the unfortunate happenings, affected persons and other well-meaning citizens should submit their memorandum for government attention.
The EndSARS movement has made the point. Judicial commissions of inquiries have been set up. Government is looking into police reform, and in fact, even the increase in salary. All those were well-intentioned. But please stop going out. Let the process come to an end. Let us now go into major reform.
Whatever complaint, genuine or otherwise, go to the Commission of Inquiry.
The stakeholders meeting also attended to issues and questions raised. In Uyo, Kelvin Samuel, NTA News.
Still on appeals, President Muhammadu Buhari has made a passionate appeal to all Nigerians to avoid sentiments and biases capable of threatening national security, maintaining that the sovereignty and unity of the country is sacrosanct. The president's message was delivered by the Minister of Defense, Major General Bashir Salih Magashi, and that of Agriculture at a forum tagged Kano Stakeholders Peace Talks held to restore normalcy across Kano State. Fatima Sanusi Karai reports.
Suffice to say, this is not the best of time for Nigeria, as youth demonstration to protest the excesses of anti-robbery squad went berserk after it was hijacked by hoodlums, leading to wanton destruction of lives and property, thereby paralyzing socio-economic activities in some parts of the country. This stakeholders meeting, which is at the instance of President Muhammadu Buhari, attracted heads of security outfits, religious leaders, and representatives of various ethnic communities in Kano, seeking to consolidate on peace to restore normalcy in affected areas.
The government will not take it easy for anybody who hinders the progress of any other person in this country. And that's why whatever you see us doing, we are doing it according to the constitutional requirement of our country, for the interest of the greater number of people in this country.
We welcome this initiative by the two ministers about peace and stability in Nigeria. Our youths should agree with what are the platforms that His Excellency the Governor have put in place, where they can hear their view.
The two ministers, indigenes of Kano, acknowledged some of the security challenges bedeviling the country and efforts being made to restore and preserve the sanctity of the nation. They also enumerated on the achievements of the present administration to date. In Kano, Fatima Sanusi Karai, NTA News.
To water and irrigation, the federal government has put a robust and sustainable development plan that will address the water problem in Jigawa State. President Muhammadu Buhari, in a message to the people, says the idea is to promote portable drinking water and for irrigation purpose to accelerate all year-round farming. Mohammed Rabiu Ali reports.
Represented by the Minister of Water Resources, Suleiman Adamu, President Buhari said
He owed the people of Jigawa State gratitude for their support and cooperation through sustenance of peace. He said his administration is conscious of the needs of Nigerians, in particular the perennial water shortage.
Ask them for their understanding that I have the country as my constituency. I've been able to discuss with them some of the key projects and programs that we've been doing, either from my ministry or from the federal government.
I'm very happy with the meeting, of course, more especially if you can look the paces of the youth here. They are happy and is well informed.
Currently, you are aware that flooding has washed away a lot of farmland. Federal government have to come in and help the people that are affected with this flooding.
They welcome the federal government decision to address water problem in their respective areas. Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
Some youth leaders have condemned in strong terms the comments of the United Nations and the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, on developments in the country. Suleiman Abdul Wahab reports that the group raised the issues at a meeting in Abuja.
The group comments President Muhammadu Buhari's diplomacy in the way his administration is attending to the request of EndSARS protesters.
France, Canada, the European Union, the United Nations, African Union, International Criminal Court, Amnesty International, Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, members of US Congress, members of the UK Parliament and foreign celebrities that had recriminated Nigeria should withdraw their misguided statement.
They also sensitized Nigerians on the implication of current protests, looting of private businesses and destruction of critical national infrastructures.
People who are anti the children of this country took over this peaceful protest and wanted to use it. And we are saying as parents, we don't think that is right.
Hoodlums have infiltrated the struggle which started peacefully.
Group advised Nigerians to use social media judiciously. Suleiman Abdulhab, NTA News.
And the youth wing of the Nigeria Interreligious Council is calling on the EndSARS protesters to back down and give peace and dialogue a chance. Timothy Yusuf reports that the Muslim and Christian youth of Nigeria, under the banner of the council, are charged with the responsibility of promoting peaceful coexistence.
Of Muslim and Christian youth believed that the violence that took over what was initially peaceful EndSARS protest was avoidable. They want the protesters to put an end to the demonstrations to avoid further hindrance to national development.
Because of the hijacking of the protest, we suggest we go for dialogue.
We are all concerned about building a better Nigeria.
It is time for them to really allow the government to work on the proposals.
Another group of youth under the banner of Nigeria Youth Organization at a road walk in Abuja is urging fellow youth to give peace a chance, as it believes that the present administration remains committed to improving the well-being of the citizenry.
Give peace a chance. There is no country that can survive war. So we are begging our youth that let us allow Mr. President to implement what he has approved for us.
Both the youth wing of the Nigeria Interreligious Council and the Nigeria Youth Organization maintains that dialogue remains the most effective tool for dispute resolution. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
In out security matters, the Multinational Joint Task Force and the Lake Chad Basin Commission, in collaboration with the United Nations Development Programme, have organized a workshop to articulate an inclusive regional communication strategy to prevent violent extremism in the Lake Chad Basin. A statement by the Chief Military Public Information, MNJTF, Chad, Colonel Mohammed Dole says the event is aimed at reinforcing information and communication line of operation to counter and replace the extremist ideology propagated by Boko Haram and armed groups with a constructive alternative narrative capable of discouraging extremism, restoring confidence and a secured future. Colonel Dole notes that the program is also meant to consult technical experts and representatives from the affected areas of MNJTF's military influence to discourage sympathy and support for terrorists and deter Boko Haram and ISWAP from radicalizing and recruiting people, particularly from troop-contributing countries and the Lake Chad Basin in general. Still on security, in continuation of the sustained offensive against terrorist elements in the northeast of the country under subsidiary Operation Wutan Barki, the Air Task Force of Operation Lafia Dole has destroyed terrorist hideouts and neutralized several fighters at Ungwuri, Ghana, as well as at Jumacheri near Damasak in the northern part of Borno State. A statement by the Coordinator Defense Media Operations, Major General John Enenche, says the attack was achieved through separate air interdiction missions on the heels of human intelligence reports, as well as a series of intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance missions indicating that several terrorists had assembled at the two locations in preparation to launch attacks against nearby troops' positions. The hits by Nigerian Air Force fighter jets and helicopter gunships dispatched by the Air Task Force to attack the two target areas resulted in the destruction of some structures as well as the neutralization of dozens of terrorists. More than 3,000 residents of Gona community in Ako local government area of Gombe State are to benefit from a free medical outreach by the Nigerian Air Force. The two-day outreach is part of social responsibility programs being carried out by the Nigerian Air Force. Balgum Summary reports.
Speaking of the program, Gombe State Governor Muhammadu Inwe Haya expressed appreciation to the force for its contribution to the health sector, adding that as a security outfit, the Air Force is also offering free medical care to the community.
This is really amazing. This is very encouraging concerning the level of poverty that our people pass through, especially this time that the coronavirus has put a reverse landing here on all economic activities.
If you recall, the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Bababaka, in his drive to ensure that communities where the Air Force base are domiciled benefit from the social, military-civil relationship.
Members of the community expressed gratitude to Nigerian Air Force for the gesture, assuring continuous support at all times. The free medical service includes free laboratory tests, drugs, eyeglasses, and treated mosquito nets, among others. In Gombe, Balgum Samari, NTA News.
To education, arising from a crucial meeting over the ongoing 2020 examination, the Governing Board of NECO has resolved that the 2020 SSCE internal be postponed indefinitely in view of the current security challenges occasioned by the EndSARS protests, which disrupted the smooth conduct of the examinations in some parts of the country. The Governing Board further resolved that when normalcy returns, the Council will continue with the conduct of the examinations in all states. The Council has, however, taken this decision in order to maintain the integrity and security of its examination procedures for seamless conduct of the Council's examination. Talking sports now, Wolves and Newcastle shared points in a 1-1 draw in EPL on Sunday, while Southampton won 2-0 against Everton. Amanzi Marcus has more on Sports Update.